What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and we are here today to go over the Nina dungeon. I might not be able to actually pass it, but I think I got enough information for you guys so we can at least go through it step by step and point out all the things in the dungeon that you could possibly do. I know a lot of people have been posting, videos and clears and stuff like that. You definitely need, it's still an apocalypse level dungeon, so don't think that just because you see a couple characters passing it does not mean that your characters can do it, because I can tell you that I still have a little bit of trouble making this somewhat consistent. So let's go into the recommended heroes first and foremost. Hey, Ashley, yes, these three are pretty much the creme de la creme, if I'm being honest. But funny enough, you do not see people using Tarkus, Esna. You see Deimos, but you really don't see these two because they're not really that necessary in the dungeon. Tarkus does get additional attack, and he does have really good tools, especially if he has Deimos in the dungeon. But it's just, since it's not necessary, you don't see that many people raising him up to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much these are here, and these are the characters that are banned essentially from the dungeon. You got Ramu, that would lower your HP, and you have Amon, which a decreased attack that's so severe that you'll pretty much do 1 damage if you bring him in there. So as you can see here, Ashley, double Ashley is pretty much the favorite. You bring in your own maxed out Ashley plus a helper maxed out Ashley, and they both just kind of counter things up to death. But I wanted to break down the dungeon just in case you guys don't want to keep wasting your stamina on it with failed tries, because maybe there was something that you had missed. Now for my team comp is actually, like I said, is going to be double Ashley. This is going to allow me to at least show you guys the majority of the dungeon without really having a fail. I like to bring in Rue because she's just a really solid unit, and I have Deimos. A lot of people know, but if you don't know, obviously Nina is Ruby's rival, so there is a difference if you bring Ruby in the dungeon in comparison to when you don't have her in the dungeon. So let's show you guys the current version with Ruby in the dungeon, and then I'll show you guys what the difference is when you get to the 3rd stage when you don't have Ruby, and you guys can pick which one you'd prefer to do. Alright, here we are starting off the dungeon. I have to pause it real quick so it doesn't flash through by, because the whole thing with the screen rotating, it kind of makes it hard to go from one side to the other. It starts off with the clown kind of teasing you here. He's like the ringleader amongst all these things. Really cool aspect, and we're going to let them take the first turn. As you can see, they're going to go first before we get to, and then we'll explain what's going on. Unfortunate that we don't get the counters. Now basically what you see here is that Aristo and May are going to be here. May, however, is immune to abnormal statuses for the entirety of the actual dungeon. You cannot stun her. You can do all the funny business to Aristo if you so please. So there's countless things, and this is pretty much why they probably didn't want Aiming in here, because you could S3 these, you would be able to engraving these characters pretty easily actually. You can stun up and CC him to death. I do suggest that you work on May, since he can just be kind of like controlled. What she does do is that they both kind of gain something every turn. His is the lustrous energy, she gains a carrot, which sounds like completely two opposite spectrums. He gains a carrot, Alright, so pretty much as the turns go, he gains 1 if May does die, which doesn't matter. He's only immune to abnormal statuses if the hero has lustrous energy. If the effective hero has 5 of them, he will pretty much do his ult, which is a single target attack, and will attempt to revive unavailable. Ashley, obviously, which sounds like Ashley, you could obviously just dodge this with the Ashleys if they do have the lovely thing of just kind of like multi-striking and counter-striking. That's why double Ashley is so good, at least for this first phase. And secondly, obtains a carrot at the start of the turn, obtains 1 when Aristo dies. If the affected hero has 3, she also will attempt an attack, and this is also a single target attack. Other thing that she does have, she has counterattack chance goes up as she has carrots, and that's a carrot. And that's pretty much it. Pretty much, I think for the first phase, I personally like to, there's no difference of who you kill and what, as they already tell you what happens. I like to focus down May because, like I said, you can just CC Aristo until the cows come home. If you don't have Ashley, or you're aiming to get someone else, you could pretty much do this same song and dance. Just pretty much focus down them. You don't really, depending on who you currently have, in your arsenal, you could just sit there and focus on that. Daimos is really good if you see that their Illustrious is Illustrious Energy or she has too many carrots, you can sit there and pop the S2. And just a fair warning, I'm just gonna let you guys know now, before we get any deeper in the dungeon, I will very likely fail the dungeon. I have not passed it myself, just because of obviously because of rune issues. I have to actually rune up characters, but I wanted to give you guys all the details, because after you get the details of the dungeon, it's more or less, do you have the runes to actually clear it. Now here I'm going to actually stun him, or well, attempt to stun him, I should say. And I didn't get it. Oh wait, I shouldn't have done that because he has luster. Well, you actually can remove, I forgot, Ashley's S3 actually can remove that. Actually would be good if you did do that, but you didn't. But as long as they keep their illustrious, all this terminology, I'm actually going to give a heal out. As long as you keep him under control, stripping, which Ruby is actually stripping him a lot. I'm actually going to, let's see, he's at 2, she's at, she has no carrot, so not a big deal here. Just going to auto attack. Nice little heal, which is gonna completely screw us over in the next part. As you can see, they, for some reason, I think it's because of the, what I used to talk about in my Nikita dungeon guide, is that the computer has a thing where they try to target the character that is doing the most damage. So like, you see that they're mostly targeting 1, 2, and 3. That's mostly the targeting, and just because I guess Aristo went crazy, he actually died first. Like I said, I'm focusing on Mei the entire time, so Mei dies pretty quickly on top of that. So the reason why, again, before we get into the main madness that is here, we'll get it says, as you see, the little clown says it again. Now, like I said, the reason why we're doing that specifically is because of the fact that you can stun Aristo, you can't stun Mei, so you want to kill her as fast as possible, and then you can CC lock down Aristo. Just make sure that you strip him, because you can't stun him unless if he has illustrious energy. So you can stun him and then he can gain illustrious energy, but you cannot, you can't do the opposite way around. Now next up we have Cain and Abel. If you guys don't know, they actually are like really good friends in the storyline, so it's kind of funny that they put them together. I don't know if Aristo and Mei are friends, but Ferocious Beast, as you guys know, the classic, he gets the damage absorption if you guys try to heal from enemies who attack multiple times in a row, increases damage from enemies that attack multiple times in a row. Berserk rages upon Abel's death. And then here is his Untamed Nature. This is what you need to strip, and you need to be able to strip this as well. Well, you can't strip this, sorry. Increases multi-striking counterattack. He pretty much counterattacks, so I would pretty much say it's 100%. You couldn't convince me that it's not. So yeah. And here we go is Separation Anxiety. Automatically activates Butterfly Wings one time if the affected hero's HP is less than 50%. Grants a recovery effect to Cain at the end of the ally's turn when Butterfly Wings is active. Abel becomes weaker upon Cain's death. So what happens here is that, I don't know if you guys have done the either or, pretty much if you kill Abel first, he goes crazy. He just does more damage, and I think he's also quicker. But if you kill Cain first, Abel pretty much puts the weaker effect on him, and he becomes instantaneously easier to kill. So it is harder to kill Cain, and especially because Abel is supporting him. But it depends on, again, your comp. So I have Ruby here. When I have Ruby, it's a little bit easier to kill Cain, so that's when I kind of can aim him down. But when I take Ruby out, I sometimes want to kill Abel first, then go. So I kind of just play it by ear, to be honest. And a really good tip that I've seen here, and I would have to agree that it is a really good tip, is to take off as much auto HP recovery. It's pretty much the same tip that we give whenever you fought Cain. Take off as much HP recovery. You'll see that my Ashley is not tuned for this because he has HP recovery, which pretty much always triggers him, and he will always get it, and it's just a very annoying thing to do. I'll probably even skip through this in the fight just because of how often it is going to trigger, because I'm not, my runes are not geared up specifically to lessen the trigger. Even my Rue has it, and unfortunately, which I really don't like it, that even though he blocks your HP, this is how Cain works in general. Even if he blocks you from actually gaining HP, even the attempt to gain HP, I actually don't even know if it says that specifically. So yeah, increases if an enemy or affected hero recovers HP. But if I don't recover any HP, like, they're triggering off recovery 0, which is, I don't know, I've never liked that. And that's, like I said, Cain's original design. That has nothing to do with the dungeon. And what I like to do here also, just change targets. So when he does have that up on him, just like not hit him, and I'll just hit on Abel, and then he'll lose his thing, and then again just slowly but surely whittle him down. That's just the only way that I can specifically do it currently on my the way I'm doing my build. Now again, this is taking forever. I will be editing this down, but another good thing is to stop this is I actually, when I'm not using Ruby, I actually use Kali because she does get the poison. There are also a poison rune set that you guys could just put on if you were having any troubles with that as well. You can just put on the poison rune set, put some poison on Kane so he doesn't heal as much. That's another really good way to do it. I'm personally just gonna kill Abel, and then Kane will gain speed, so there'll be more attacks on him over time. As you can see, the double Ashleys are technically lined up, and he'll become faster to where I'll get 2 Ashley turns. So that's just what I'm waiting for. All right, here we go. We killed off Abel, and then now he's gonna go berserk. You'll see that he'll start taking additional turns, making it a little bit easier for turns like this where there's absolutely no thing on him. We can just do some damage, and all the multi-strikes will go onto him, so it's perfect. Keep ourselves healed for the next round. Ouch. He'll gain some HP every once in a while, but it's really not that big of a deal. Another really good character to have in here is Damien. Only really at when he's at max awakening, he does actually strip damage absorption on his turn, so it would be another additional damage absorption turn, which would obviously help you clear this a little quicker. All right, finally. Had to bring in a different Ashley, but we got through it. Finally was able to kill out the thing. Now we're gonna go into the second stage. Now, even though my Ruby is currently dead, I just wanted to show you guys the difference, what happens when you bring in Ruby. Here we go. Starts off, and she says, "I knew I was gonna face you, Ruby. So now maybe the best women win." They like kind of taunting each other, and instead she brings in Sarah into the fight. Now Sarah, in my opinion, and I'm gonna show you guys the other one. I'm just gonna edit it in, and you guys can let me know what you guys think is easier to deal with. I think fighting Ruby is a lot harder. Just a lot harder. But let's look at Sarah. Sarah removes all buffs from enemies whose HP ratio is less than the affected heroes at the start of the turn. She also applies weakness reveal to 3 enemies. Sarah aborts the match upon Nina's death, so that pretty much means if you can kill Nina, then you don't really have to worry about Sarah. But obviously that's depending on what you guys want, because Nina here, no matter what you do, Nina has the same stuff. Tiger Dance removes all buffs from defense and hybrid enemies at the start of the turn. When Nina uses a specific skill, it causes her allies' turn to come quicker and causes them to use a powerful attack. So we'll see what that skill is in a little bit. And she also has her classic astral passive, greatly decreases single target attacks damage taken by allies, including the affected hero. Nina berserk rages when the duration of adamantine ends. So pretty much in 9 turns she's going to bust out crazy. So reason why I'm going to show you guys is the difference between her and Ruby. I'm gonna try to do it clear here. I probably won't do it because I'm already in a really bad state. Kane just did too much to me because I really need to rerun my character. Like I said, please take auto HP out. It's gonna be really hard, but I would even go to the point of suggesting you don't even use the 5 slot, because we all know, still to this day, season 2, this 5 slot is still hard to get, and not to have it with auto HP recovery stuff. So yeah, so let's give it an honest try here. Now, as you can see here, I'm just gonna showcase. Hopefully, yeah, I'm gonna die. Okay, cool. The only reason what makes Sarah harder is that she will only strip you. Where is it? She's only gonna restrip you from enemies whose HP ratio is less than hers. So when she's at full health, you need to be at full health pretty much. And by as the thing goes on, so she will be easier to deal with if you can keep your HP high. It's harder to deal with that because you're taking out all this recovery stuff because of Kane, and then you come into the part with Ruby. Remember, this is with Ruby, and then you have to deal with this, Sarah, who's gonna keep stripping your buffs. But at least it was a condition. Ruby does not have a condition. We'll see that in a second. So when they keep stripping, this whole thing with Ashley, it just doesn't work. just keep getting stripped. Doesn't really matter what you're trying to do. She's just gonna keep doing that, and you're gonna end up with absolutely no way to defend yourself, and you're gonna lose just like that. Oh my god, it took forever, man. Woo! It's so annoying if you don't have everybody on auto HP. Alright, so here it is. This is what happens when you don't bring in Ruby all this time. And then boom, she brings out Ruby instead. And her thing reads as this: removes all buffs from defense and attack type enemies at the start of the turn. Removes all abnormal statuses from the affected hero when attacking or when attacked. So, I mean, and also she has a normal status thing until that. And on top of that, she increases element disadvantage damage. So pretty much if you bring a bunch of water characters in here, which is what they're tempting you to do, but you really don't need to, she will do more damage to those targets. But so pretty much if you are going to be lowish HP, probably coming in from here, she's a little bit easier to deal with. Meanwhile, in the opposite way, she's, I guess it depends. It's really hard. It's really hard to decide. Like I said, I just wanted to let you guys know the difference in one video of the two. Now I think Sarah is a little bit easier because if you can keep your HP high, you're actually pretty okay. You don't have to really worry about anything. But Ruby will strip you. There is no prerequisite. If you're a defense or attack type, you will get stripped. So your Ashley strategy, I feel, falls off a little bit. But obviously, it's just with Ruby, you could probably try to focus down Nina. Ruby will pretty much stop if you kill Nina. But you'll see right here is that I'm gonna S2 right now, get my buffs, but she strips everyone and then goes on the attack. You can't taunt her, which kind of sucks, because you have to wait a little bit and able to taunt, and so you can taunt her because it's gonna take a little bit. So if you think you can survive this, then maybe, but I find that that's just gonna be incredibly difficult with Nina being the one that actually has the adamantine buff, which reduces single target damage, which is what we're doing all the time. And as you just saw there, her S3 is now a cone attack, which, whatever, sure. Now I do like that Alphonse here can actually tank out her. You can constantly just have it on her, and that's actually, as you saw there, she gave her that buff that we were talking about here yeah, right here. When Nina uses certain skills, her ally pretty much gives them a powerful attack, so you can use that as the means of excuse for why that happens. But not being able to stun her is probably the problem. But after these turns go away, if you can sustain this fight, it wouldn't be too bad, because then you can CC them up. There's obviously a lot of other things you could do. Like, we're not taking too much damage. Like, we're not, it's not that crazy. Taunt her up if you can, but you can't taunt her. And you just have to keep her healed, which is then you obviously want all this auto HP, all this healing thing going on. But this is pretty much where I can't pass that, because I need to improve my rune quality. I gotta take off all auto HP, even from Rue and from Deimos, which I can't do because I'm actually low on the enhanced stones. But this is more for everyone here that is trying to do this dungeon, that maybe didn't understand something and just need a little bit more information before going back into it. This is Apocalypse level, so it is meant to be difficult, but it is a fair dungeon in my opinion. I do think that I would just need to do a little bit more tweaking, and then I can actually pass this dungeon. We'll just let Rue take the death here. Look at that, even Rue is tanking Nina's damage. Really nothing too crazy. Like, this is not, it's just not that bad. But that last part is where you want to make the decision. Do you bring in Ruby and keep everyone's HPs relatively high, and then you have all your water characters? At that point, I would say, let me back out of here. But yes, at that point, I would say, do you want to have come into that third stage, keep everyone's HP high, not really have to worry too much about Sarah, and kind of focus down on Nina, and then you can keep your buffs, in which Ashley will actually be able, both Ashleys will actually be able to deal well at that point? Or do you want to not use Ruby, Ruby, fight against Ruby, and constantly have attack and defense people? Obviously that means you could just use a bunch of hybrids, but Nina is stripping the hybrids at that point, so What, are you gonna go in there with all supports? I doubt it. It's mostly up to you guys. It's really up to you guys exactly how you wanna fight. This is where I put my faith on Ruby right there. I put my faith in Ruby. But you know, I like Ruby. I actually want to get her awakening up and really utilize her because I really think she's really cool. But she will keep triggering the Kain. A lot of people I know that they're struggling on Kain, so I really wanted to focus on that as much as I can. Take auto HP recovery off you guys. You can put on the poison rune set if you want to. If you have a good poison rune set, you can do that. So at least while you're attacking him, he doesn't gain any HP. So every time you do get an opportunity to do damage, you actually do damage. You know, you actually just always do damage. So eventually he just dies. And then, like I said, Abel will just pretty much kill himself with the weaken debuff, and boom, you're in the next stage. So I say if you wanna, I would say maybe bring in Ruby, some poison, and go ham. Tarkus Esna strat obviously would definitely benefit if you're going with Ruby. If you want to bring in a bunch of water characters, you bring in Ruby with them, and you know, then you force the Sarah, and then you have all that additional DPS on Sarah. Take her out, and then you just focus on Nina, which her damage does go up, but I'm pretty sure with some manipulation you probably can tank it out. She is easily taunted, and Alphonse I think will do a phenomenal job at just tanking her out. If you don't have Alphonse, you can bring in Murdoch, any tank that just has ridiculous defensive capabilities while taunting. So Murdoch, you know, Alphonse, I think you could probably even throw in Claude. He would even benefit from the counterattack leader skill that Ashley is putting out there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm all in there. If you guys have a different strat that I haven't brought up in this video, please share it, because I think that a lot of people can do this with minimal room requirements. I don't think they need the upper echelon like Karina did. I think that this one is very doable, and I think that the more ideas that we share, the better and easier it's going to become for everybody. And it'd be great to get a character like Nina, because she is a beast if you look at her actual skills. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and the next video I'm going to do is the Esna and Ruby guide videos on how to build them now that they have their awakenings. So let me know in this in the comment section also, who would you like to see first? Who do you guys want to see how to build first? All right, that's it. Peace.